WWE title is back with. Hold on. Everything good? Okay. With my first of 4 Survivor Series reviews. And yes, I am going to continue my 2009 review, like I said, with Extreme Rules and Teenage Slammiversary. But I'm here to do my first of 4 Survivor Series, like I mentioned, with Survivor Series 2003. Now, you know, when I count down all the 2003 pay-per-views, I ranked it at number 2. And, like I said, WrestleMania 20 may be my favorite Ruthless Aggression era pay-per-view, but this, probably my second favorite pay-per-view from the Ruthless Aggression era. So, yeah. And then I'll do the others 3 sometime later before Survivor Series comes out. But anyways, Survivor Series 2003, a Raw SmackDown event. This is when they did the brand pay-per-views in around this time period, which I like that. At the American Airlines Center in Dallas, Texas, which is supposed to be here before the whole pandemic happened, but whatever. But anyways, I mean, this show, hands down, is one of the best Survivor Series ever. You have 2 traditional Survivor Series matches. You have an ambulance match and a buried alive match. And this is one of the best shows of 2003. WrestleMania 19 is number 1, obviously. And this is amazing, to say the least. Anyways, let's just get on to Survivor Series 2003. With the SmackDown Survivor Series elimination match of Team Angle, which is Kurt Angle, Bradshaw before he became JBL, which, if you go to next year's Survivor Series, he's the WWE Champion. Chris Benoit, Hardcore Holly, and it was supposed to be Farouk, but he was replaced by John Cena. Defeat Team Lesnar of Brock Lesnar, A-Train, Big Show, Nathan Jones, if you don't remember who he was, and Matt Morgan, if you know who he was. I'm doing the 2009 review, and my next team period, like I said, will be Slammiversary, which I think he's facing Sting. Yeah. In a 5-on-5 Survivor Series elimination match, and let me talk about the eliminations in the match. Anyways, Hardcore was already been eliminated. He jumped the gun. Then AJ was eliminated by Bradshaw. Then Bradshaw was eliminated by Big Show. You were not JBL, yeah, when he won the WWE Championship a year later. Yeah. Matt Morgan was eliminated by Kurt Angle. Then Nathan Jones was eliminated by Kurt Angle. Then Brock Lesnar was eliminated, or Kurt Angle, sorry. Kurt Angle was eliminated by Brock Lesnar. And then Brock Lesnar was eliminated by Chris Benoit. So they were setting up Benoit for WrestleMania. And Big Show was eliminated by John Cena. And this is the second Survivor Series I done with Cena and Big Show were like the final 3 guys. Because in 2006, go back to that video last year, it was Cena and Lashley against the Big Show. And Cena pinned Big Show. And here again, Big Show was pinned by John Cena. And John Cena's rap was pretty good. He said he was a one-night stand with Sable and whatnot. I give it an 8 out of 10. So yeah, and I'm bringing back I'm going back to my old roots of number or ratings and not star ratings anymore. Okay. Anyways, then we get a match between Molly Holly defeating Leah to retain her women's title, and a good short match. And this was actually not a bad match. And yeah, 6 out of 10. Then we have Kane defeating Shane McMahon in an ambulance match, and they promoted it as a final counter ambulance match. And this was a lot of fun. I really love this. I really like this feud between Shane and Kane. And Kane's unmasking in 2003. I remember that happening in this feud with Shane, and Kane, with the whole electrifying testicles, limo abuse, when Shane was trying to say, "Have a nice ride," and then the limo was destroyed. Hospital beings, Kane beating up Shane McMahon in one hospital the night after Unforgiven, and then Kane beating up a doctor when he got that limo, when the limo was destroyed by that semi truck. I was actually there when Kane rose from the dead. He was a monster since the last time he was this unstoppable monster was when he debuted. Yeah. This match was really good. These two beat the hell out of each other, and of course Kane's gonna win this match. So, but this will not be the last time we'll see Kane on this pay-per-view. So, Shane, when the bell rang, Shane clotheslined Kane over the top rope, and then they did the elbow through the table. Typical Shane McMahon spots. The coast to coast off the freaking ambulance. And of course there was unprotected shots in this match, and of course Kane hits the tombstone, throws Shane in the ambulance, and close both doors. 9 out of 10. Really good ambulance match. Really fun. I really enjoyed the ambulance match. Now we get to another cool down match. The Bastion Brothers defeats Los Guerreros. Fine tag team title match. Eddie Guerrero will be the WWE Championship by No Way Out 2004 the following year. Hold it till, like I said, when he drops his JBL in the Texas Bull Rope match. Whenever I do Survivor Series 2004, which will be sometime later on. Probably Saturday, perhaps. But yeah. 6.5. Decent match. Then we get this Survivor Series match. The Raw traditional Survivor Series match. Team Bischoff of Chris Jericho, Christian, Mark Henry, Randy Orton, Scott Steiner, of course with Eric Bischoff being the captain, defeats Team Austin of Booker T, the Dudley Boys, Rob Van Dam, and Shawn Michaels, of course with Steve Austin. Now, if Team Bischoff wins, Stone Cold is no longer the co-general manager. But if Team Austin wins, the whole provoke thing is gone. So Stone Cold be the old Stone Cold. I gotta say, this match, hands down, the best Survivor Series elimination match. The last one was Team WF versus Team Alliance 2 years prior, in 2001. There was not one in 2002 because they were doing the Elimination Chamber match, the first one. So yeah. So the order of eliminations. Scott Steiner was eliminated first by Booker T, so renewing their WCW feud. Then Booker T was eliminated by Mark Henry, so they set up their feud at Armageddon. Yeah, remember that feud? I don't remember that. Then Mark Henry was eliminated by Van Dam and the Dudleys. Then Rob Van Dam was eliminated by Randy Orton, who, by the way, who RKO'd Mark Cuban on this show. Forgot to mention that, but I did. Then Devon Dudley was eliminated by Chris Jericho. Then Bubba Ray Dudley was eliminated by Christian. And then it was down to Michaels versus the three: Christian, Chris Jericho, and Orton. And Shawn was bleeding like hell. And Christian was still eliminated by Shawn Michaels, then Jericho, ending their feud from 03, although they were renewed their feud 5 years later. And then it's down to Michaels and Orton, and around this, back in this time, I was rooting for Team Austin. I want Steve Austin's team to win this match. But we all know Austin was not going to wrestle anymore because WrestleMania 19 was his last match. Go back to that review. And Batista interferes after a lot of shenanigans. Referee Mike King gets bumped. Bischoff interferes. Austin stuns Orton. Beats up Bischoff. And then Batista bomb. Woke up the referee. And Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler saying, "Kick out!" And 1, 2, well, they're screaming. 3, Randy Orton is the sole survivor. Although Austin will come back as the sheriff like the next month. Yeah. 10 out of 10. I cannot describe how great this match is. And people think this should have been the main event. Well, I'll get to one main event. But anyways, now we get to, well, Austin beats up Jonathan Coachman right after the match. Then we get to another big thing about the show. Mr. McMahon defeats The Undertaker in a Buried Alive match. Barely beats The Undertaker in a Buried Alive match because Vince McMahon, of course, was praying. Also, Undertaker did a segment in the graveyard. And this is the last match for the Biker Taker title this year, as we all know. He was praying, saying that, and Undertaker's like, "Pow! Soup bones!" And Undertaker beat the shit out of Vince McMahon, and not already, he was already busted wide open. Vince McMahon got busted open immediately when the match began. And this was basically 100% Undertaker in this match. Vince barely did anything. Undertaker destroyed Vince McMahon until Kane comes out and calls Undertaker the match. Also, there was Undertaker used a shovel and stairs and a monitor. Yeah, Vince barely got the win. 8 out of 10, and there was and now we get to the main event. Goldberg defeats Triple H to retain the World Heavyweight Championship. To me, I think this was the right match to close Survivor Series because you gotta send the fans home happy, and honestly, this was another good match, but it's the weakest. No, the women's title match and the WWE Tag Team title match are the weakest matches on the card. This probably be third weakest match. But this was a good main event for Survivor Series 2003. And we all know, he should have won the World Heavyweight Championship. Goldberg should have won the World Heavyweight Championship. Fun fact, I did that episode already. We won Unforgiven. And then they did the Bounty storyline, and we all know. This was a good match. A 7 out of 10. But the reason why this was the main event, because send the fans home happy, and Goldberg was, the beginning of the match, he speared Triple H. And, yeah, Evolution tries to help Triple H, but Goldberg hits Flair with a sledgehammer, Orton, and Batista. No, wait, it was Flair, then Batista, and then Orton. And then the spear, jackhammer, Goldberg, which will retain the World Heavyweight Championship. 7 out of 10. But I say, this is the best Survivor Series ever. Say 2002 will be an understatement, but I think this is the best Survivor Series because I saw this when I was 5 years old. Here in 2020, I still love this pay-per-view. I give this an 8.9 out of 10. And honestly, I recommend this show. This is the best Survivor Series ever. Now, next Survivor Series I'm going to do, it's going to be in order, like I mentioned, with 2004, 2010, and we're only doing 4. This is the first one, so we're now 2014. So, yeah. So, and then I'll be back with my 2009 year review with, like I said, Extreme Rules in Slammiversary. So bye. Like, comment, and subscribe.